Ever wondered why your perfect match on Tinder seems to be just out of reach? You swipe right, they swipe right. It's a match made in heaven, right? Well, not so fast. You might think that Tinder exists to help you find your soulmate, or maybe just a fun date for Friday night. But what if the reality is a bit different? What if Tinder isn't in the business of making love connections, but rather in the business of keeping you swiping? Imagine for a moment that each time you swipe right, it's like throwing a dart at a dartboard. You aim for the bullseye, your ideal partner. But what if the dartboard is constantly moving, making that perfect shot almost impossible? This isn't just a game of skill, it's a game of chance, and the house always wins. You see, the moment you find your perfect match, the moment you delete the app, Tinder loses 2 active users. That's 2 less people swiping, 2 less people viewing ads, 2 less people potentially purchasing premium features. From a business perspective, it's a loss. And let's face it, Tinder is a business. So what's the solution for this business? Keep the dartboard moving, keep the illusion of the perfect match just out of reach. Keep you swiping and swiping and swiping. It's not about helping you find love, it's about keeping you in the game. It's about keeping you engaged, invested, hopeful. The more you swipe, the more invested you become. The more invested you become, the more likely you are to spend money on premium features. And so the illusion of choice is created. An endless array of profiles to swipe through, each one potentially the one. But remember, each swipe is not just a potential love connection, but also a potential revenue source for Tinder. In the end, it's not about helping you find love, but about keeping you swiping. Did you know that Tinder ranks your attractiveness? It's true. No, it's not a judgmental human behind a desk, meticulously scrolling through profile pictures. Rather, it's the cold, calculating algorithm that Tinder uses to decide your worth in the world of online dating. You see, behind the swipes, matches, and fleeting moments of digital flirtation, Tinder's algorithm is hard at work, assigning a secret score to each user. This score, known as the ELO score, is an algorithmic assessment of your attractiveness based on how other users interact with your profile. Yes, just like in chess, where the ELO rating system was first developed. In the realm of Tinder, if your profile gets a lot of right swipes, your score goes up. If you're left swiped into oblivion, well, your score drops. But that's not all. The algorithm also considers the scores of the people who are swiping you. So, if someone with a high score swipes right on you, that's a big boost. But if someone with a lower score does the same, it doesn't help you much. This secret score determines how often your profile is shown to others. If you have a high score, you're more likely to appear in the swipe stacks of other high score users. Conversely, if your score is low, you might find yourself buried under a pile of profiles, making it harder for potential matches to discover you. So, is it all just a game of numbers? Not quite. The algorithm also takes into account your activity on the app. If you're a discerning swiper, that could work in your favor. But if you're swiping right on every profile in a desperate bid for a match, the algorithm will likely mark you down. In essence, your success on Tinder isn't just about your charm, it's about how the app perceives your market value. Your eloquence, wit, and carefully chosen profile picture may win you matches, but behind the scenes it's your secret score that's pulling the strings. So your success on Tinder isn't just about your charm, it's about how the app perceives your market value. What if I told you that the same company owns almost every major online dating service? It's true, the Match Group, a behemoth in the digital dating world, is the proprietor of Tinder, among other popular dating platforms. They have their fingers in many pies, from OkCupid to Plenty of Fish, and even Hinge. It's like walking into a supermarket, seeing a variety of brands, but they're all owned by the same parent company. This monopoly isn't merely a case of business acumen, it's a strategic move. The Match Group has a vested interest in preventing successful matches. Why, you ask? Well, it's simple. Once 2 users hit it off and start a relationship, they're likely to delete the app, and that's 2 fewer customers for the Match Group. So the more you stay single, the better it is for their bottom line. Now, this doesn't mean that they don't want you to go on dates or have a good time. They do, but they'd prefer if you don't find the one just yet. This way you'll keep coming back, swiping right, buying premium features, and ultimately filling their coffers. The implications of this monopoly are far-reaching. It's not just about the commodification of love and relationships. It's also about the control over how we meet and connect in the digital age. This control allows them to dictate the rules of the game, from algorithmic biases, to the manipulation of user experiences. Moreover, the Match Group's dominance raises serious questions about data privacy and user security. With millions of users across their platforms, they have a treasure trove of personal data at their disposal. The way they handle this data can have significant impacts on individual privacy and societal norms. So the next time you swipe right, remember, it's not just a game of love you're playing, but also a game of Monopoly. And the house always wins. With the game rigged this way, finding love becomes a business strategy, not a romantic pursuit. But how did Tinder come to be and become such a game changer, you might wonder? Well, let's take a step back and walk through the inception of this revolutionary app. It all started with a young entrepreneur named Sean Rad. Rad was a business student at the University of Southern California, but he had ambitions that stretched beyond the confines of a classroom. He yearned to create something, to make a mark on the world. At the tender age of 18, Rad dropped out of college and took the plunge into the world of business. His first venture, an app idea called Orgo, was unfortunately a failure. But as it often is with failures, it was also a valuable lesson. Rad realized that with the right team and a little help, he could create anything he wanted, and that's when it happened. In a conversation with his friend Justin Mateen, the idea for a dating app was born. The duo envisioned an app based on the concept of hot or not. This idea was the seed that eventually grew into what we now know as Tinder. The initial version of the app was called Matchbox, but it soon ran into a snag. The app quickly attracted investment from Match Group, a multi-million-dollar company that held the rights to virtually all relevant dating companies in the world. The similarity between Matchbox and Match Group was too close for comfort, and so a name change was in order. And thus, Tinder was born. But that wasn't the only change. In an interview with Bloomberg, the founders admitted that Match Group was not merely an investor in the company, but also held the majority of the shares. This revelation was a game changer in the evolution of Tinder's business model. From Matchbox to Tinder, the journey has been about more than just a name change. It's a story of ambition, innovation, and the relentless pursuit of revolutionizing the way we connect and find love. So what does this all mean for you, the user? Let's take a step back and piece together the puzzle of Tinder's intricate design. First off, we have the illusion of choice. You swipe, you match, you chat. It seems simple, almost too easy, but behind the scenes, a complex algorithm is pulling the strings, deciding who you see and when. This isn't about your perfect match, but rather keeping you engaged, keeping you swiping, and ultimately keeping you single. Next, we unveil the secret score. Unbeknownst to most, Tinder assigns each user a hidden attractiveness ranking, determining how often your profile is shown. The more you swipe, the more data you feed into the system, allowing it to further manipulate your experience. Then we stumble upon the Match Group monopoly. With almost all online dating services under its umbrella, Match Group has a vested interest in your continued search for love. The moment you find a partner, they lose a customer. The incentive isn't for you to find love, but to keep you searching, to keep you hoping, and yes, to keep you spending. Finally, we trace back to the birth of Tinder. A brainchild of Sean Rudd and Justin Mateen, the app was designed to revolutionize the dating scene. But as it grew, so too did its focus on profit. With Match Group as the majority shareholder, the app's fate was sealed. Business first, love second. Now we're left with the bigger picture. An app designed not to help you find love, but to profit from your search for it. This isn't just about business. It's about ethics, about the manipulation of one of our most fundamental human instincts, the desire to be loved. In the world of Tinder, it seems love comes second to profit.